Hello everyone. I wanted to make a video today, and I'm going to be in Genesis 24, 1 through 21, I think. But let me first tell you that Genesis 2:18 said, "And the Lord said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and helpmeet." All the days that he made, he said it is good. Then he'd do another day, he'd say it's good. But when he got to the man being alone, he said it is not good. So that is something that that all of us want to have a mate, and the right one. It's not just get a mate; it's getting the right one. And Abraham was getting old, and he didn't want his sons marrying just anybody, or Isaac. So I'm going to pick up in chapter 24 of Genesis 1 through 21. I think is where we're going to go. And going to be in the King James Version. It said that Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, my hand under my thigh. You remember that when... So anyway, let's get back to this. "And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites in whom I dwell. But thou shalt go into my country, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac." So he's telling the servant that he wants him to, he's charging him with that Isaac gets the right woman. So it's very, very important that we get the right woman, and that the woman gets the right man. And the servant said unto him, "Peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from which thou camest?" And Abraham said unto him, "Beware that thou bring not my son thither again. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me and sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give thy land before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. And if a woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from my oath. Only bring not my son thither again." And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. And the servant took 10 camels of his master, and departed, and all the goods of his master was in his hand. And he rose and he went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the water by a well at the time of evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, "O Lord, God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and shew kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come to draw out. And let it come to pass that if the damsel to whom I say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink, and she shall say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be thou that thou hast appointed for my servant Isaac, and thereby I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master." And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, or whatever, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, "Let me pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher." And she said, "Drink, my lord." And she hasted and let down the pitcher upon her hand and gave him to drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, "I will draw water for thy camels also," until they had done drink it. And she hasted and emptied her pitcher in the trough, and ran again unto the well to draw water, and drew for his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit, whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. Seeking a wife for his master, seeking a spouse, that's a very important thing. And as I do in a lot of these videos, I'll just tell you some personal experience of mine. was a worldly boy. Didn't know nothing about living for the Lord, and my family didn't go to church, and I was getting the age that I needed to be married, and I didn't know the Lord. I didn't have salvation, and I had saw girls in high school that they might have been a lot of fun to be around or whatever, but I didn't see one that I wanted to settle down the rest of my life. And so my brother, Dwayne, that passed away, he could seem like get a date with anybody, any of them girls. He was 2 years behind me. I'd already graduated and been graduated for a couple of years. And he said over a year or whatever. And he worried him that I didn't go out on a date. And I was just waiting on the right one, and I didn't even know the Lord. And he got me a date with a senior maid, and he got me a date with a sophomore maid. And he said, "You want me to get you another date?" And he said, "How was that date?" And I said, "They were good, but no, I don't want any more." So my wife, I had seen her one time, and I just didn't know who she was. So I saw her at church, and my aunt was not a good cook. I might have mentioned some of this on another video, but my aunt was not a good cook, and she asked my mother if Dwayne would go over there and meet Melinda. And my mother said, I'll send Dale, see if Dale won't come. So I went over there with no expectation. I just knew I wanted someone that I could be with the rest of my life. I could trust her. She could trust me. And so I met Melinda, and it didn't just take off like a rocket, but after a little while, I got where I couldn't stay away and not see her. I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, that's where I grew up, and Melinda lived right down the road from where I'm standing right now, and in Hazel Green. And I had to drive 23 miles to get to see Melinda. And I would get off work 5:30, 6 o'clock and drive out here because I just could not bear to be away from her. And we went on. We was married a couple of years. I had one child. We had one child, had one on the way, and I got drafted in the Army. And like I said, I didn't have salvation, and Melinda prayed for me, prayed me off orders to Vietnam, off orders to Korea. Oh, how valuable it is to have the right one. And there is a right one. Just like this, Abraham sent his servant out to find a wife for Isaac. There is one. There's one for you. There's one for me. But we just need to make sure we get the right one. So, I was 1,000 miles away from Melinda. I wasn't even home when my daughter was born. I had a son, and then my daughter was born while I was in the Army. I went in October the 28th, inducted, and my daughter was born March the 1st. And so I knew my wife was back home praying for me. I didn't worry about nothing, and that's what you need to know. I think you'll know, and not only do I think you'll know, I know that you will know if you'll just be in tune with God. For me, it was the one I just could not stand to be apart from. I just needed to be with her, and it's still that way. Down through the years, when I'd get off from work, we didn't have cell phones. I'd pull over to a parking lot where I knew, or maybe the last store. I'd call on grocery stores for Carnation Company and Nestle Food Company. And when I'd leave that store, I'd find a phone, and I'd call Melinda, and I'd say, I'm on the way home. Do you need anything? If the answer was no, zoom. I didn't go down there and talk to somebody else for 3 or 4 hours. I wanted to be home. I wanted to be with my wife and my children. So it's the one that you can't stand to be apart from. You know, any word that's got a sub in it, submit, subject, anything like that, it's a hard word to obey. And it's very hard. So make sure that you can do that that you can submit and being subject. And it's not, they say it's 50-50. It's not 50-50. To me, it's 100-100. 100% for both ones. In the marriage ceremony, you know, I've performed many marriages. And in there it says to the groom, I and the groom take thee, call them out of the bride's name, to be my wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. And there's going to be some sickness on both sides. To love and to cherish until death do us part, according to God's holy ordinances. I was in Knoxville 2.5 months taking treatments, radiation treatments. And my wife, she stood by my side. She went with me. And when I got back home, everything went pretty good for a while. And then, I don't know how many months, 6 months or so, I got radiation burns and radiation proctitis. And it was awful. But I had my wife there. And, you know, you read the vows to the couple. I've never had one when I was reading them in the wedding ceremony. Said, well, wait a minute, give me 5 minutes and let me think about this and I'll get back with you. No, they say I do. And you can say more and weddings don't last long, just a few minutes. You can say more in 10 minutes, 20 minutes if they last that long. Then you can get done in 20 years. So be careful. And after they tell me that they agree to do that and we complete the ceremony, then we have to come back, us ministers, in the pulpit and remind them of what they agreed upon that day or night or whatever it was. So marriage it can be the best thing that happened to a person. I rank it up there right under my salvation is my marriage. I didn't grow up in a peaceful home. I've recounted to you before, my dad was an alcoholic, and it was not peaceful. And I made up my mind that that's what I wanted, was a peaceful home. Didn't know the right thing. Didn't know where she was at, like in this I read to you. And but I knew that that's what I wanted, was a peaceful home. If you want it, if you want that, what we're talking about right here, what I'm talking about, you will make some sacrifices, and you'll put that first on your list, or second, your salvation, and then your spouse, and that's what you do. I'm gonna tell you this real quick. I told it in another video. I trained people, but this one boy, I didn't train him. He was out of Montgomery. We had a district meeting, and the district manager, he was an older type guy, and he got up with a blood and guts speech about Carnation Company had to come first, no matter what it took. And we had a company car we drove around. They provided everything. I think we paid $25 a month, and which was a good deal. They repaired it. They provided the gas, get it washed for you, whatever. And that young man went and he told him, he said, Mr. Williams, here's the keys to my company car. And he said, what are you doing, son? And he said, well, you got up and you said Carnation had to be first, sound like first, second, third, and whatever. He said, first is God, and then my church, and then my family. And I don't even see Carnation Company in the rearview mirror anywhere. So I've never forgot that young man. I forgot a lot that I trained, but not him. But anyway, I know it sounds like how am I going to do this kind of thing? But God will help you. And when you get it completed, you'll be so glad that you waited and sought and got the right one. So may God bless you in your life until we see each other again.